Department of Public Administration. In today's class, today we are talking about SEM 5. In this block, today we'll be discussing block 2 and 3. In block 2, we'll be discussing about Unit 3 and Unit 4. Unit 3 is Principles of Office Organization, and Unit 4 is Office Environment. And in block 3, we'll be discussing Unit 5, Office Accommodation, and Unit 6, Office Layout. So first, we will be discussing today in this elective paper, Public Office Administration. First, we will be discussing about block 2, then we will move on to block 3. In the block 2, we have two topics. That are, Unit 3 is Principles of Office Organization and Office Environment. First, we will be discussing about Office Environment, Principles of Office Organization. First, what do we understand by the term organization? It is the organization has the meaning of an organization, or in simple terms, we can say that organization is an arrangement that serves the purpose of a group of people, that is by which serves that it is, we can say that it is a structural configuration which is aimed at discharging certain functions, or if we want to make it more simpler, we can say that it is a teamwork of a group of people when they come together to gain profit or to serve people with their multiple functions. That is, multiple functions are being performed by many people in the organization. That is, production, marketing, finance, human resources, all these. That is, these are termed as a multiple functions. So when these multiple functions are being performed in an organization or in an configuration, that is, when all the people come together and perform these all activities as a teamwork, then for achieving a target or achieving a common goal, that institution or that place is termed as an organization. So now this is a meaning of an organization. Now when we talk about this organization, first we have to discuss what are the important types of organizations. There are two important types of organizations, that is formal organizations and informal organizations. Formal organizations. What do we mean by formal organizations? Formal means it is a well-defined thing. Formal, the meaning of a formal is it is a well-defined, well-mannered, or we can say when all the people come together in a meeting, we can say. For example, formal organization is in an organization when a group of people come together and conduct a meeting and have a conversation, that can be termed as a formal meeting, and that is a formal organization. That is, now organization, the formal organization is, it is a well-defined jobs, each bearing a definite measure of authority and responsibility. Because in formal organizations, we see the authority and responsibility of each and every person. Now, as we have taken a meeting which is being conducted in an organization, then the group of people who are there in the meeting, they show their authority as well as responsibility in coming out with ideas, in coming out with their views to complete the task. So formal organization is the people when they have a well-defined jobs, when they come up with their showing their responsibilities and authority to perform that activity, or to perform that work is termed as a formal organization. Now, the second one is the informal organization. Formal is here in the formal organizations. They are the greeting manager greet the employees, and they will not have a informal meeting. That is, in a formal organizations, they don't have a rapport of understanding each other. There will be a boss and an employee relationship, and we can say employer-employee relationship, where employer will maintain his authority as well as responsibility, and the employee also tries to maintain his respect towards the employer, and he will listen to the employer and oblige to the employer's wishes, we can say. So the formal organization is, as I'm repeating again, formal organization is a well-defined jobs, each bearing a definite measure of authority and responsibility. Simply, you can remember like this: formal organization is having authority and responsibility to finish the task or address the group of people in an organization. A teamwork, we can say. In the teamwork, each person has their own responsibilities and also authority to finish the task. The second one is the informal organization. What do we understand by this informal organization? Informal organization is a relationship between the people in the organization. That is an informal way. That is personal attitudes, emotions, understandings. That is, if two people are working together, in a formal system, we can say two people will be colleagues and they will do their own defined jobs. But in an informal way, they will understand each other and understand each other's weaknesses and strengths, and complete the work which is being assigned to them in the stipulated time. So that is understanding the opposite person to finish the task in an easy manner. That is an informal organization. So these are the two important types of organizations which will help the organizations. If we say in each organization, these two exist. If these two types exist only, and an organization can flourish in a better manner. Because if in a formal meeting, if the boss will, the employer will show his authority and his responsibility to gather information or to delegate duties to his employees. And whereas now in an informal setup also, the employer should understand. That is a formal one. The first one is a formal one. In the second one, in an informal way, the employer has to understand the problems of the employees, the emotions of the employees or their weaknesses. Then he can address their problems in a better manner. So it is in each organization, formal and informal ways of, we can say, formal and informal ways of arresting the issues or addressing the problems and making the workers work for the organization to achieve the targets or results of the organization, we can say. So this is a types of organizations which exist in a particular organization, types of systems also, we can say. Now, the next, in the continuation of this principles of organization, before moving on to what are the principles, first we have to understand what is an organization, what are the types of organizations which exist, which will make the work easier. Then we have the third one is structure of the organizations. That is the structure of the organizations, that is structure or the systems which help the organization to achieve the targets in a very easy manner, that is in the fixed time. So which also, this structures also help the managers to, and it also helps, or we can say that it facilitates the managers in functioning effectively. Because as we talk of an organization, in an organization, there are many, we see many managers working, or many functions are being performed to finish the task. That is, the first one might be the production, finance, human resources, marketing. Like this, we have many departments, or we can say many functions. Without one department or without any one function, the organization may not be able to perform the activity or perform the work, or may not be able to complete the goods or sell it in the market. So these are the important functions which are to be performed in an organization. So under this, these functions, or these multiple functions, which have to be carried out effectively and efficiently, these can be divided into 5 kinds. Those are the 5 kinds are, the first one is line organization. Second is functional organization. Third is matrix. Fourth is line and staff. Fifth is committee organizations. These are the 5 kinds of systems which exist in an organization. Now, the first one is line organization. Line organization. By the term only, we can understand what is line. Line is a straight, we draw a line, that is, will be a straight line. So we can say that is top to bottom. So in an organization, I can say that in every organization, top to bottom system or hierarchy exists. Means the top person will delegate the duties or divides the work or assigns the work to his subordinates. That is superordinate and subordinate, we can say. That is termed as line organization. Then second one is the functional organization. Functional, by the term only we can understand. Functional means it is about the functions which are being performed in the organization. That is production, procurement, marketing, finance, all these. That is, production is what producing the goods. Procurement is buying of the raw material. Finance is taking care of the budget, the expenses, the cost of the production, the employee salaries, everything. Then marketing, advertising the product, making the people understand about the product, creating awareness in the market to sell the product. That is marketing. So these are the most important functions, that hence these are termed as functional organizations or functional systems, which are very, very important in the organization. Then the third one is a matrix organization. The matrix organization is, we can say, a web type. The project, for example, the project manager, the product exerts or he exercises the job of a general manager also. That is, a manager going on with multiple tasks or taking care of an additional task. That is a matrix organization. Then the next is line and staff. Line and staff is, line is a single line, as I told you, top to bottom. And the staff is taking more responsibilities. So in an organization, we see top to bottom order, as well as people performing multiple tasks, taking up more responsibilities, doing additional work. All this can be understood as a line and staff. Then the fifth one is committee organizations. Committee organizations means modification of other forms of organizations. That is, if an organization is working, taking up another responsibility of the other organization, or modifying itself into another organization to finish the task. That is a committee organization. That is, these are the, we can say, 5 kinds of structures of the organization. Then we will move on to the principles of organization. What are the important principles of organization? The first and foremost is principle of objectives. Principle of objectives. What do we mean by the term objective? Objective, the difference between an objective and a goal. And a goal is a last end result. Objective is achieving each day target. That is, if a worker is working in the organization, his objective will be finishing that task in that one day. The objective of the manager might be finishing the work of 10 employees in one day. That is, might be the objective of the manager. The ultimate objective of the organization is to finish the manufacturing of the goods in that stipulated time. So now all these are it might be individual objective, as well as organizational objectives. So, and ultimately each one of their objective leads to achieving the organizational goal. If the objective of an employee and objective of an employer, objective of a manager, or whoever we take, everybody's target or everybody's common goal is to achieve the target or finish the result or come to that result in the stipulated time. Achieving the result in the stipulated time, we can say. That is the first and foremost principle of the organization, whereby we can say principles of objectives. That is, each one of them should have a particular objective to finish the task and to achieve the common goal of the organization. Then the second one is principle of responsibility and authority. Now, in an organization, each one of them should have the authority as well as responsibility towards the work. Now, authority is different from responsibility. Authority is showing power or doing the work, performing that work with ease. That is, I can say that showing with power. That is, the manager shows his authority, that is, shows his position, shows his designation to finish the task. And as well as he has the responsibility of the employees also, to take care of the employees, and whereby he will show his authority of making the employee work for the organization, as well as he also takes up the responsibility of the employee or the worker to finish that task. Hence, the principle of authority and responsibility are very, very important to finish the tasks, whereby which will help the organization in achieving the organizational goals. Then the third principle I can say is division of work or dividing the work. If each employee is being assigned equal work or based on their capability and capacity, then the work can be finished in the stipulated time or in the in the given time. That is the target, we can say. So the organization has to keep in mind, and we can say that principle of a division of work or principle of dividing the work is also very, very important. because the organization, now the organization here, I mean about the management or the higher authorities. So it is a responsibility of the higher authorities or the management to keep in mind that which person is capable enough, or which person has more expertise in performing that activity based on their capacity and capability, and I can say that in how efficiently and effectively, if the performance has to be taken into consideration, then only they can finish the task in an easier manner. If a person who is unable to finish the task, or if he works very slowly, and if he is dumped with huge work, he may not be able to finish the task, which might be a demotivating factor for him and as well as for the management also. So it is a responsibility. I can say that it is a prime responsibility of the management to take care of this principle of dividing the work based on the efficiency and capability of the worker. The work has to be assigned to them, whereby giving them giving them a motivational space to work with ease. Then the next one is line and staff relationship. Line and staff, as I told you, line is top and bottom, staff is multiple. That is, a manager might be responsible, might be taking care of 10 employees, and if from one section, and from the other section, he might be taking responsibility of another 10 people. So it is the top to bottom, there should be a relationship, and also multiple. That is, in an organization, each one of them should have cooperation and coordination. There should be a relationship, a mutual understanding should exist between each employee, whereby giving the employees and the organization a better place to work. Then next principle, important principle, is balance, stability, and flexibility. Balance, stability, and flexibility. What do we understand by the term balance? As we all know, balance is currently, we can say, equally. So the organization should keep in mind that the workers have to, their emotions have to be addressed, their weaknesses have to be addressed, their relations have to be addressed, and their work has to be addressed. That is, whoever is capable enough has to be given more work, and if a slow person is there, he has to be given less work, by balancing the work and making them work for the organization. If only 10 people are dumped with more work, then the organization might not be able to finish the task. So there should be a balance between the employer and employee, employer-employee relationships, employee-employee relationships, superordinate-subordinate relationships, and multiple functions have to be balanced. So that is balancing. Second one is stability. Stability in performing the task. Stability in addressing the problems. That is, in a slow-paced manner. That is a stability. Flexibility. Flexibility is flexible, changing if there should be a scope to change the decisions, or we can say that there should be a scope for the employees to work in a very pleasant manner, whereby understanding each other. That can be a flexible, whereby this will give the employees as well as the employer a very healthy atmosphere to work with. Then the next important principle is informal organization. As I told you before, informal organization. Informal is addressing the problems, giving them some perks, just acknowledging their work, all this non-monetary benefits or recognizing their work, all these are, or addressing their weaknesses. These are, or taking care of their emotions. All these are the informal ways of addressing the problems of the organization. That because if any worker is been undergoing any problem, and if the organization is unable to address that, understand that, then it might lead to huge loss to the organization. So formal and informal ways of running the organization and maintaining the employees in the organization is a very, very important task in the organization. And also this will have a great impact in the working of the organization. Then the last one is the specific functions. Specific, the word itself explains us, particular. So the organization should keep in mind the particular functions which have to be given only to the employees who have the expertise in the working of the organization, or who are better in that performing that task. So those employees have to be given more responsibility, which will also help the organization in achieving the targets. So this is all about the Unit 3, Principles of Organization. Now we will move on to Unit 4, Office Environment. Office environment, as we all know, that office is a place where the collecting of information and information, passing on the information, that is, we can say it is the nerve center of the organization. And in yesterday's class, we have taken the university as an example also. Now, what is this office environment? Office environment. Environment is the physical aspects of the office. Office environment is the physical aspects of the office where the employees work. For the well-being of the employees, the office environment should be made positive, or it should be made comfortable enough for the employees to work in an easy manner to finish the target or to achieve the organizational goals. So in this aspect, there are many factors which are very, very important to create the physical environment or conducive environment for working of the employees. In that, the first component we can say is the staff facilities. Now, what do we understand by the term staff facilities? Staff facilities is provision of better infrastructure, provision of good, I can say, transport facilities, or we can say a place to sit in the organization, comfortable places or cabins, individual spaces, whereby they can work with ease. Because now, if, for example, if a person who is sitting before a computer, and if the person is working with the computer, and if that employee is made to sit on the floor or on the ground, will he be able to work with a positive manner? Will he able to achieve the targets of the organization? He may not be able to achieve, because the computer, it has to be put it on a table, whereby a table and a chair, it is very important for a person to sit erect and see the screen and to work easily. So these are the staff facilities of which will create. Now, staff facilities, that is a physical environment which has to be created by the employer or by the organization for the employees to achieve the organizational goals. That is the first and foremost, that is of staff facilities. Second is lightning, light. Now, we see in many offices, if we go, they have dim lights, or if they don't have a proper light facility, then the bulbs or the tubes, they don't have better light, then the people will have a positive energy to work, because darkness will be prevailing. With the darkness, they may not be able to work with passion, or they may not be able to work with clear image, or they may not be able to work with clear understanding. So light is also very, very important. Then the next one is ventilation. We see ventilation also plays the sunlight, or plays a very, very important role in working of the organization. The positivity, the vibes which we get through the sunlight, the clear sunlight creates a positive energy to work, and has some sort of energy which will make the employee work with better ease. Then temperature and humidity. This plays a very, very important role, temperature and humidity. In summers, for example, in summers, the workers will not be able, or the employees will not be able to work with so ease, or they may not be able to work with so much of effectiveness and efficiency. Why? Because the humidity, they will be sweating, and the temperatures will be high, and they'll be thirsty. So many multiple things come up which will create an atmosphere whereby the workers may not be able to work with ease. Then noise is another aspect. Then security, that is a very, very important. Security, nowadays we see that the women employees are growing in large numbers, and they need more security for themselves. So if we see in organizations, they see women's security is being given to the women employees, and many employees are working in shift systems also, so they need more security. Then fire hazards, that is, we see if you go to pharmaceutical companies, or a cracker company, or wherever where there is a threat to life, then there should be we can say hazardous conditions. When there is hazardous conditions, then they have to be addressed in a proper manner. So we can say that the office environment I'm talking about the physical environment. The physical environment, that is, the offices should be soundproof. That is, outside noises should not be let in, because with this, what happens is the employees may not be able to work with efficiency, and because of the sound pollution. And the ventilation also plays a very, very important role. Then the other physical conditions might be light also. Because of all these conditions only, the organization may be able to achieve the targets with an easy manner. So this is all about office accommodation. Next, we will move on to the block 3, that is unit 5, office accommodation. Till now, we discussed about office environment. Now we will be discussing about office accommodation. Now, what do we understand by the term accommodation? Till now, in the environment, we have discussed about the facilities, the ventilation, the physical environment, that is, which is being surrounded by to the employee, the surroundings of the employee, which will help the employee to achieve the targets in an easy manner. Then the next unit we are talking about is Unit 5, that is office accommodation. Now, what do we understand by this term office accommodation? Office accommodation refers to the selection of appropriate office location. Here I'm using some terms, that is appropriate office location, office building, and other facilities required for office. Appropriate office location. Now, if a corporate office, that is a corporate office, or if it is an IT office, if a Microsoft office is there, if that office is being placed in an market, in a vegetable market, or in a fruit market, or in a market, then will they be able to perform their work with an easy manner? No, they may not be able to. So it is the selection of an office. That is, selection of an office is based on the product what they are manufacturing. Based on the product what they are manufacturing, the office has to be placed in that place, appropriate place. So office accommodation is choosing an appropriate place or appropriate location. Now, if manufacturing goods of things or a material is been, they choose the area where market is near to them, because it will cut down the transportation cost, and if the market will be near, the organization will come to know what is the market trend, who are the competitors. It will help them to know about the market. So office location is very, very important. And the second one is office building. A market, as I told you, if garment stores are there, the garment stores cannot be placed in a first floor, second floor, third floor in a building. They have to be placed in the ground floor, whereby the customers may have an ease to come and watch the clothes. That is, a mall is a different perspective. The mall is a different one. But if you take a local market is different from a mall. So checking, now in a mall you will not be able to find the stuff which is available in the local markets. So selection of the office building based on the product and the produce and the citizens or the people or the customers, the office accommodation has to be selected. That is, office building has to be selected. And the other facilities required for office, that is it might be the air conditioners, office equipments, that is tables, chairs, of all these that are very, very important. Now, what are the important factors of office accommodation? As I told you, the first one is office location. Second one is office building. Third one is office layout. Office layout. What do we understand by an office layout? Office layout is systematic way. Office layout, the meaning of office layout is, it is a systematic way of placing the equipments. Now, if an office in a building, an office is there, in that office where the tables and chairs should be placed, where the computers have to be placed, where cabins have to be done. This is the systematic way of placing things. So the organization cannot put randomly whatever they wish to, that is dumping everything in the middle of the room. So an arrangement, the office layout is the arrangement of the equipments which have to be placed in the proper manner to finish the work or make the employee work in an better environment. That is office layout. Then the fourth one is shape and size of the office. Shape and size of the office also plays a very, very important role. That is, if the office is very spacious, then the employees will work with ease because they have ample space to walk, to take up their work and complete the given task. So shape and size of the office also plays a very, very important role. And also this is Unit 5, Office Accommodation. Block 3, Unit 5, Office Accommodation. I am talking about Unit 5, Office Accommodation, Block 3. In this office accommodation, now office accommodation and office organ environment, these are all, I can say these are all the important structures or important things which have to be kept in mind when a person or when there is a scope to establish an office. So office environment, I can say office environment, office accommodation, all these are very, very important. Next is this helps the organization also. This helps the organization to achieve the organizational goals, or it also helps the employees to work in a very efficient manner. It helps the organization in a very efficient manner. So these can be termed as factors which are responsible or which are very important when the organization goes for office accommodation. Now, next we will talk about the issues in office accommodation. What are the major issues which are involved in office accommodation? The first one is lack of specialized attention to the problems of the office management. That is, lack of specialized attention to the problems. That is, the management has to keep in mind that every employee might not be same and may not be able to work in the same manner. So they have to, the management or the organization should keep in mind when they go for an accommodation that there might be some expertised people who have more knowledge and who need a better place to work for. So if you see big offices or huge offices, we see that a manager cabin will be there, a general manager cabin will be there, and based on their positions, their cabins will be decided. So why? Because based on their nature of work, based on their authorities, based on their responsibilities, how they are performing the task, and based on all these things, these have to be. This is a major thing which come across, in the organizations because of the lack of specialized attention. We see in many offices, all the people are being made to sit in a row, which will not give a better atmosphere to work with, because each person might be working on a different aspect, and with his roles and responsibilities might be different, which will create an unhealthy atmosphere. So that is an first and foremost issue which comes up in the office accommodation. Then A second one is avoidance of inconvenience for public visiting different offices. We come across these problems in government offices, that the general public, just they randomly come up and go to the tables wherever they see a person. Because they lack awareness, the people, they don't know whom to be addressed, where they have to be addressed, and whom they have to go and meet. So with that, what happens is the nature of work, the work nature of work will get disturbed, and the employees may not be able to finish the task in the stipulated time. That is also very, very important. Then another important thing is tendency of departmentalization. That is departmentalization, dividing the work, that is individual departments. We see in many organizations, all the departments, that is, if it is a marketing department, finance, everybody will be sitting at one place and working. So which will create an unhealthy atmosphere, because the marketing person who will be every time with the market, in the market, so he might be having a tendency to talk more. And because he has to gather information about the competitors, about the trends in the market. And the person who is in the finance department, he might be talking less and working more, because he has to calculate the things, he has to manage the finances. So if these two persons are made to sit at one place, they may not be able to work with ease. So that is an important problem which has to be addressed when the organization is going for accommodation. Then these are the important. So in the office accommodation, we have discussed about what is office accommodation. We have discussed about the factors which are responsible for office accommodation, and then the issues of office accommodation. Then the unit 6, office layout. Of what do you understand by this office layout? As I told you, what is a layout? Placing of equipment in a systematical procedure. Placing of equipments in a systematical procedure is termed as office layout. So once again, I'm repeating, office layout means the systematic arrangement of office equipments, machines, furniture in the available floor space for providing adequate space to office personnel for regular work. That is, if an employee, making the employees work for the organizational goals in a very healthy manner, in a very healthy atmosphere. That is as I told you, if an office floor in a space is being given for an office, if everything is dumped in the middle of the room, then can the employees work in an easy manner? No, it may not be easy for the employees to work. So the placing all the things in a systematical order, that is tables and chairs, computers, fans, lights, ventilation, all these, providing of pen, paper, all these, the stationery to finish the task, all these are very, very important to perform, because with these small things only, the employees will be able to finish their work with ease, and I can say with more efficiency and effectiveness. So this is of office, the meaning of office layout. Now we will discuss about what is the need for a proper, is there any need for a proper office layout? Yes, there is a need for a proper office layout. Why? For what reason do this layout is so important? Because there are some factors which are important, which have to be addressed. The first one is it impacts morale. If the office is not in a systematical order, if everything is dumped at one place, then it will have a great impact on the morale of the employees. Morale means self-confidence of the worker. So if, as I have given the example of a person working with the computer, if the employee is working with the computer, and if he is not being provided with a table and chair, and if he is made to sit hours together on the floor, then he may not be able to work with ease. He may not be able to work with 100. He may not be able to give his 100% to the organization. He will be in a rush to just finish the task which is being assigned to him, and he might lose his confidence also, because he might think that will I be able to perform this work in an easy manner, because I am unable to sit properly, I am unable to focus on my work. So impact, because the office layout is very, very important. Why? Because it impacts the morale of the employees. Then second is, it impacts the efficiency rate. As I told you, the efficiency, the how effectively, how efficiently they are working, how sincerely they are putting their efforts in their work. And also it impacts the performance also, that is the performance of the worker. If the worker is unable to, if the worker has to finish the work in the stipulated time, that is in 1 hour, if the layout, that is if he is not being given a proper place to sit and work, he may not be able to work and complete the task in that 1 hour. He might be taking another 1 hour and say that I'm not having a proper place to sit. Now I'll give you a very better example. Now when you go and write the exams to different centers, and if the center people don't give you a better table and chair or a better place to sit and write the exam, then the student will lose his morale, lose his self-confidence, because he is uncomfortable in writing the exam, because he is not sitting properly, he is unable to put his paper properly, he is unable to put his 100%, that is whatever the answer he knows, he is unable to put it on the paper. So which will directly impact his self-confidence, his performance, and his inner strength. So these are, and so this all, if it impacts the person and the employees. So if the layout is good enough, then it increases the productivity. As I told you, if they are being given better table and chair to work with, then it increases the productivity and it gives them better place to work. Then it facilitates supervision and effective use of equipments also. That is, it gives them a better place to address these issues. So that these are the effective, I can say that it gives an effective use of the, now as I have given you the person who is using the computer and sitting on the floor. But if the organization gives him a better table and chair, and if the computer is placed on the table, then he will be able to work with ease and with more confidence, because he is sitting in a good posture and he is easily working on it, and he might finish the task in a given time. So these are the important, I can say, important things which are very, very important reasons to give a better layout. Then what are the next? We will move on to the objectives of the layout. What are the important objectives of the layout? It is the chief objectives of the layout, or it gives an effective workflow. As I told you, it gives, if the equipments and the infrastructure is good enough, then the work will flow easily. Everybody will come together. There will be a teamwork because everything is being provided to them, and they will work with ease, with coordination and cooperation, because everything is with them. They have equipments, they have the infrastructure, they have the stationery, everything is with them. So the workflow will be very easy. And favorable impression it will give if there is a good layout, if there is a perfect layout, then the impression to the clients also will be very easy, and the visitors also will come and go and will have a very good. Now I can give you a better example of a bank also. In a bank, if the bank is very spacious and if the people are being addressed easily, and if you have good signboards and there are people to address your problems, and if they have better computers, then the people will visit the bank frequently and get the things done in an easy manner. Then that is a very, very important thing to address. Then it also facilitates to supervision, that is everybody will be in a happy manner and they will be addressing the things. So these are the very, very important things which have to be addressed by the organization. And moreover, if the office layout is used in a proper manner, it will give a better effective utilization of the space also. That is, it gives out a better utilization, because each and every corner of the space, each and every corner of the room is being used. Hence, the people who are visiting and the employees who are working in the organization also will have a better atmosphere to work with, and also will have a better understanding to work on. So this helps the organizations to move on with the office layout. So these are the very, very important things which have to be kept in mind in the organizations. So in the today's class, we have, once again, I'll repeat, in today's class, we tried to cover 2 blocks. In block 2, I discussed about unit 3, that is of principles of office organization, unit 4, office environment, and in in block 3, in unit 5, office accommodation, and unit 6, office layout. So once again, I'm repeating this topic. Today's class, we tried to finish these 2 blocks, block 2 and block 3. In the principles of organization, we discussed about what is an organization. We discussed about formal and informal organizations. We discussed about the kinds of organizations, that is line and staff organizations, matrix organization, functional organization, line organization, and committee organizations. Then we also discussed about the principles of organization, that is achieving the objectives. What are the objectives which have to be achieved in the 3rd unit. And in the 4th unit, we discussed about the office environment, that is the physical aspects of the office. That is, it might be about the space provided for the employees to work, ventilation, lighting, noise. All this is the physical aspect, to whereby giving the employee a better place to work. Then in the unit 5, we discussed about the office accommodation. Office accommodation is provision of location of the office building, and office location, in which area the office is located, that is office location. Second is office layout, the office building. Then third, in the unit 6, we discussed about office layout. Office layout, what is the meaning of an office layout? Office layout is a systematical procedure of placing the equipments. That is, placing the equipments that might be machines, material, or the infrastructure in a systematical manner, thereby giving the employees a very healthy atmosphere to work on and with efficiency and effectiveness. So these are the two blocks we have completed in the elective paper, Public Office Administration. So if you have any doubts, you can come up.